"1970 found Hudson consisting of a village of about 3,000 residents, surrounded by what was then Hudson Township. The Hudson Volunteer Fire Department served both communities with a modern fleet of pumpers, firefighting vehicles, and a new 75-foot aerial platform fire truck. The fire station was located on the southeast corner of Route 91 and 303 in the village. The department was staffed by 30 volunteer firefighters and officers under the command of Chief Richard Myers. It should be noted a few years later the fire station was moved to its present location on South Obiot Street. The tragic fire occurred at the Hudson Fuel Gas Corporation, which was located in the park on the north side of Ravenna Street, just across from the evaporator works. This area is now called South Green. The fuel gas facility consisted of a 1-acre service yard with storage buildings, an office building, and a loading dock, which contained various sizes of propane cylinders. There were two 12,000-gallon bulk storage tanks used to fill portable propane cylinders. Behind the bulk tanks was a rail spur, which at the time of the incident had a 40,000-gallon rail tank car parked on it, which was partially filled with propane gas. The yard contained two 3,000-gallon bulk propane delivery trucks, a utility truck, and a flatbed truck loaded with propane cylinders. The following was produced for the Hudson Fire Department in December of 1970 as a record of this disaster. The morning of November 12, 1970, found the weather in Hudson a cool 43 degrees with calm winds and a frosty feeling in the air. At approximately 7 a.m., a bulk propane delivery truck pulled away from the loading dock, rupturing a high-pressure fill hose. This allowed the propane gas to escape and spread a low fog cloud over the service yard, across onto Ravenna Street, and down into a nearby creek bed. It was at this point a passing vehicle drove into the vapor cloud, igniting the gas. Fiery explosion occurred, engulfing the area with burning gas. At 7:09 a.m., the Hudson Fire Department responded. The new snorkel fire truck went down Ravenna Street, laying dual 2.5-inch supply lines from the intersection of Route 91, and began to direct water onto the fire from the deluge gun. Following an established pre-planned, fire crews also attacked the fire from the north and east sides. Arriving firefighters found 20-pound, 43-pound, and 100-pound propane cylinders exploding and flying throughout the area. The fire was also endangering the two main 12,000-gallon bulk liquid propane tanks and the partially filled 40,000-gallon liquid propane railroad car. Firefighters braving flying cylinders of propane gas in 2,000-degree heat attacked the fire while the evacuation of the area residents took place. The body of a female victim was found on Ravenna Street just east of the fire. Later, it was determined that she had been a passenger in the Volkswagen which was found on the bridge. This car was believed to be the source of the ignition as it entered the propane vapor cloud flowing across the road. The badly burned driver of the car escaped by running west towards Route 91. He was taken to a local area hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. Later in the morning, the bodies of 2 children were discovered in the back seat of the Volkswagen. The employees who had been working in the plant office were able to escape the initial explosion and fire. However, one of the employees later died due to the extent of his injuries. The vapor cloud of gas burned off from the area rather quickly, leaving only burning gas leaking from broken pipes and cylinders, which engulfed vehicles and buildings in the yard. Of immediate concern was the cooling of 2 large storage tanks to prevent their failure, as flames could be seen coming from open seams in one of the tanks. It became apparent that the heat from the fire was damaging the village main power lines, which hung over the fire field. The loss of these lines would interrupt the village water supply, which was needed to fight the fire. The decision was made to temporarily cut power to these lines for a short period of time to help cool them down. Arriving mutual aid fire departments were deployed around the fire field to support the Hudson firefighting units. These included Stowe, Boston Heights, Twinsburg, and Mogador fire units. At approximately 8:30 a.m., a front loader arrived from the Terex plant, and it was able to pull the partially filled 40,000-gallon rail tank car out of the danger zone. Firefighters entered the yard at 9:30 a.m. and began the search for missing employees and to gain control of the burning gas. A backhoe was brought in to remove sections of the storage building to aid in the search. The body of the dock foreman was located about 10:45 a.m. near the main loading platform. A major challenge was controlling the escaping gas from the tanks and broken pipes. This was managed by allowing leaking gas to burn while cooling adjacent surfaces to reduce the chance of further explosions or tank failures. As the day continued, a plan was implemented to use a controlled burn from the top of the railroad loading platform to deplete the remaining gas from the storage tanks. Later in the day, additional fire crews from surrounding fire departments relieved exhausted firefighters who were provided food and drink by the fire department's Ladies Auxiliary. The afternoon was spent with mop-up and overhaul operations, as well as damage assessment and fire investigation. This photograph is of the valve assembly on the back of the liquid propane truck, which was severed, causing the high-pressure gas to escape. The fire was officially extinguished at 6 p.m. Here can be seen the extent of the initial blast area along the creek bed and the damage to buildings on the south side of Ravenna Street. After this 11-hour fire, the following information was gathered. Fire departments used approximately 6,500 feet of hose during the fire. 9 major pieces of fire apparatus pumped over 680,000 gallons of water. 65 firefighters along with local police and public service workers participated in the event. Preliminary property loss was estimated to be in excess of $1.5 million. There were eventually 6 fatalities. Later evaluation by officials suggested the fire department's ability to prevent the 2 main bulk tanks and the railroad car from exploding probably saved Hudson from a major catastrophe. The Fuel Gas Corporation abandoned their attempts to rebuild the facility and moved out of Hudson. Redevelopment in years following created this peaceful park, leaving not a single trace of that November 12, 1970 disaster.